Testing, testing. Okay, so this is the video to help you orient yourself. Just a quick little exploration of SketchUp. You are going to go to a new tab, and you're going to click or type in Sketch. Yep, SKETCHUP. Push enter. Okay. And I usually don't click on ads, so I go down to where it actually says SketchUp.com. SketchUp Free is what we're going to work with, and what SketchUp is, it's a 3D modeling program that will help you kind of, if you want to make plans for a basement remodel, you want to build a shed, you can do all this drawing, all the blueprints on the computer before you actually go build. And it'll help you solve a lot of potential problems that you might come across, and it'll also help you know what kind of materials you need to order a little bit more clearly. Okay, so we're clicking on SketchUp Free. Alright, once you click the button Start Modeling here, you will maybe ask to log in or to create an account. Okay, use your Google account, your Google Jeffco account. Once I click on it, it'll automatically go because I'm already logged into the Jeffco Google account. And I've got different things here that I've worked on. But you're going to create new. Now there's 3 different templates here. Now you can work in millimeters and meters, as you can see down here, but generally speaking, unless you're an engineer or you're working in a different country, okay, we're probably going to stick with feet and inches. So we're going to click feet and inches, and it's going to pull up a template, a blank template for us. You'll see this nice little person here they put here to represent, hey, generally speaking, where the person's standing on, that's the ground. Okay, and it is a 3D modeling program, so we do have dimensions. We can go up in space and back in space and what have you. All right, to start out with, though, for this first day, I really just want us to draw on a more 2-dimensional level. And the way that we get to where we're looking like we're up in the sky here, looking down on the ground, is we can go over to the right, and we'll go to the movie, thing that they have, take 1, take 2, the button that says Scenes over on the right. Click on that, and you're going to go to the middle icon, and that's, you can see you're looking down on a roof. Okay, it's from the top down that we're looking. So I'm going to click that. Now you'll see that there's just a line here where this person used to be. All right. Now we're looking from the top down, and they drew the person as a flat object. That's why you just see a line here. Okay. And so I'm going to delete this person because that black line is kind of bothering me. And it's pretty easy. If you look over here, there's a bunch of tools that we can use. It's automatically selected on the cursor here, which is the Select tool. So if I click and drag a rectangle, okay, around this line, which represents the person, and let go, it'll highlight it, and then I can push delete to delete that person. Okay. Alternatively, I can also use this tool, the eraser button. I click on the eraser button, and then I click and I drag through that line. It selects it, and then we'll also erase it. All right. So again, I just want to get rid of that. I want us to draw 2D first, like we're looking from the top down. And this blue line, okay, it represents going up into the ceiling, and then the dotted line represents going down into the ground. All right. I don't really want to work in that dimension, right? I just want to work on a flat surface. So I'm going to kind of move my view screen here over to where I don't really see this solid blue line. Just to kind of keep myself, I just want to be within this space here. Okay, kind of, you can think of it like an XY almost, XY coordinate space. Just a solid green line that represents one dimension going this way, and the solid red line that represents the dimension going this way. So how I move my view, besides the preset views over here, right? These are preset, these are all preset. How I can kind of more refine where I'm looking at is I go over to this tool down at the very bottom. Currently it's under orbit, but yours might be under something different. If I click, there's a couple different options. Okay. Orbit means I can, 3-dimensionally look around an object. Okay. Pan is what I want to do right now, though. All right, that's just moving from left to right, up and down. So if I click on that button, pan. All right, now I can kind of click and drag my view to where I want it to be. So if I click and drag, I can move it over here to where all I'm really drawing or looking at is this kind of this quadrant here that's bounded by the green axis and the red axis. Okay, so right here. The dotted blue line again represents going down into the ground, but we're just going to ignore that for now. We're just going to we're going to draw on the ground here basically. We're going to draw work just flat on the ground looking from the top down. All right, once you're to this point, the first thing I want you to draw is over here on the right. We can look at a rectangle button. Okay, so we're going to just draw a rectangle. So click on that button. Now notice there are several different options. We could draw a circle here, and this is the polygon. All right, here's a polygon. Okay, and text, but we're just going to stick with a simple rectangle. So click on the rectangle button, and then click and drag. Actually, you don't even have to drag. You just click once, let go of the mouse button, and then you move your mouse cursor around. Then you can make it whatever size rectangle you want. Just kind of keep it within, again, the green and red axes. And I'm going to click one more time to finish to say, hey, let's set that rectangle the way it is. All right. Now what SketchUp did here is it drew a rectangle, but not really. Okay. What I mean by that is it actually drew 4 lines for you. Okay. And then filled in, because those lines were connected, it filled it in with a color here, blue. And that's important to realize because if you go to move a part of this rectangle, okay, it won't actually move the whole rectangle unless you click in the middle to move the whole. It'll move the line. Okay, so these aren't really, they're connected, but they're not really one unit. There's a line here, a line here, a line here, a line here, and then there's a space that's filled in. All right, so we can also do that just by drawing 4 lines. We can make a rectangle, right? And the tool to do that would be up here, this little pencil guy. So I click that. Again, I can do a freehand or I can do straight line. We're going to do the line, so the pencil. And I'm going to go over here. And notice here when I go over, SketchUp tries to kind of predict and give you ideas of what to do. What this dotted red line is saying, hey, do you want to match? Do you want to start drawing at the same height as this guy here? Okay. I don't really want to. I'm just going to go over here in a blank space. I'm going to click once. All right. And then I can decide how long I want my line to be. Notice it's red right now. And if I go up a little bit, it turns black. Well, why the heck is it doing that? Well, it turns red, and in fact it kind of snaps to red, because it's assuming that you want to draw a line that's parallel to the red axis. Okay, see the red axis down here? And if that's the case, then that's great, right? If I don't want it to do that, then I got to move a little bit off of it, okay? But generally speaking, when we're drawing construction, okay, we do want to be on the axes as far as we want to be parallel, because that'll keep everything at a 90-degree angle or perpendicular to each other, right? Notice if I go up here, all of a sudden it's going to snap to green. Okay. So I can easily draw lines that are 90 degrees to each other because it snaps to that color. Also, you can, instead of just like kind of randomly drawing a line, you can tell it how long you want it to draw. Okay? And all you got to do is type in the number that you want to draw. And now it defaults to inches. So if I type in 48, you'll notice on the lower right-hand corner, it typed in 48. Kind of cuts it off there on my screen, but lower right-hand corner, there's a dialog box there that typed in 48. If I type in 48 and then push enter, okay, it'll create a line that's 48 inches long. All right, well, 48 inches is the same thing as 4 feet. So if I go down on the green here and I want to go 4 feet, I can type in 4. Don't push enter yet, though. Type in 4, and then you have to push the apostrophe to represent, hey, you actually want 4 feet. Otherwise, it'll think you want 4 inches. So 4 apostrophe, click enter. I've got another 4 foot. All right, now if I want to continue, and I'll actually make a square here because all the sides are going to be the same. On axes, red axes, and it actually is already kind of telling me, hey, if you want it 4 feet again, so I'll click. I can either type in 4 feet, or you can see that it's telling me it's at 4 feet right now. I'm going to push the mouse button again. And then this last one's pretty nice. I don't have to type in anything. It'll like snap to that corner. Okay. And click it. So now I've got a 4 foot square and a rectangle. I'm going to make my rectangle a little bit longer. Kind of looks like it could be a square. So I'm going to move this line up a little bit. How I move a line is I go over here to this tool, new tool, click, And notice I can rotate and scale, but right now I just want to move. So click there. And we're going to go over to this line, and I just want to make it look more like a rectangle. So I'm going to go up the green axis. Remember, if you go this way, it's going to not be 90 degrees. So up the green axis and push it. Oh, sorry, not push enter, push the mouse button. Now we got a rectangle and we got a square. All right, now notice if I wanted to move the whole thing, I have my move button selected here. I could click in the middle and it would move the whole thing. Okay, that's kind of nice, but it's also nice at times to be able to move from a corner. But watch what happens if I move from a corner here. Oh, it's moving the two sides instead of the whole thing. Alright, so if you want to move something from a corner point, like click here and have it move the whole thing, and for instance, if I wanted to match this corner with that corner, it's kind of hard to do that exactly with this. I mean, I could be a little bit off when I did that. Okay. If I want to do exactly match this corner to this corner, I have to make one of these a group or a component. And what that means is I make these 4 lines basically act as one thing. Okay. And the way you can do that, if you have a mouse, and it is beneficial to use a mouse when you're drawing with SketchUp. Okay, if you don't have a mouse, there's other ways to do it, but it's a little bit more difficult. You're going to click the select button, and you're going to click and drag so that you select everything, kind of like if you're going to delete it. And then you're going to right click. If you right click in the middle there, you can see 2 options here: make a group and make a component. These things are similar. Okay. For purposes of right now, I'm just going to have you make a group. Now it grouped everything as one here. Right, so when I go to move now, I go to a corner, right, it will move the whole thing, not just a piece of it. Okay. Word of caution too here, when you're building and you want 2 things to remain separate, okay, if I started building another thing right here, but I knew that in the future I might have to move things, like if I might have to move this one and move this one, it's not necessarily a good idea to build them right next to each other to begin with, because watch, if you have to move this, well, that's fine. But I mean, if you have to move, let's see this one, it's kind of get wonky and weird, okay, where they connect. All right, so it might be better if you have to build 2 separate things and then to build them separately, group them, and then put them together. All right, last thing I want to show you for this first day is to actually build a component, or to, in this case, we're going to build a stud. Okay. So if I wanted to build a stud here, I could put the dimensions in a rectangle. It says if I'm looking from the top down, it's going to be a rectangle. It's going to be 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Oh, look how we're kind of slow or small here. It's hard to see what's going on. All right. If you have a mouse, it's super easy to zoom in and out by just using the wheel on the mouse wheel. So if I go like this, and wherever my cursor is pointing, it kind of starts to zoom there. So if I want to zoom over here, I could do that. Okay. Zoom over here, zoom out. If you don't have a mouse or a wheel on a mouse, okay, you can go down to here to where we pan, click there, and there's also a zoom button here. So if I click on that, zoom, and then I can click and drag up or drag down, okay, to zoom in and out. Super important thing, if you're pushing buttons over here and all of a sudden you find yourself like somewhere where the heck you don't even know where you are, nothing's drawn, okay, you can go over here to the bottom, go to the, not the zoom, regular zoom button, but the zoom extents. Basically what that does is it zooms around stuff that you've drawn. So then it should kind of pull you back to where you were. So if I click on that, and then I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit here because I kind of went too close, but at least it found where I was drawing. Okay. All right, now if I zoom in here, so I can see my stud I'm building, at least looking from the top down, I've got to go another 3.5 inches, because remember a 2x4 stud is actually only 3.5 inches wide and 1.5 inches thick. And I've got a rectangle that represents looking from the top down on a stud. All right, now I'm going to zoom out a little bit here, and I'm going to do something real cool, real powerful tool here to do your first little bit of 3D on SketchUp. If you go to this tool here, push pull, what it does is it takes an object and it extends it into another dimension. Okay. In this case, the up and down, right, going up into the sky, we're going to extend it up. So I click there, and I go inside the space where the blue is highlighted. I click, and then I can pull this thing up into the air, or if I want to go down at the ground, right? Okay. And you can type in the dimension how much you want it to extend up. All right. Well, let's say I was building a, I wanted a 10-foot board or an 8-foot board, then I could type in, let's just type in 8. 8, don't forget about apostrophe, otherwise it'll be 8 inches. Okay, and I'll zoom out here. All right, so you can see here I'm kind of looking from the top down, but it shows it that, hey, this has got a third dimension now. And even see that dimension clearer. All right, we could go to a different preset view here where we could look at from the side, like a side view, an elevation view. If I click on that, okay, well, you'll see here my flat rectangles that I built on the ground, and then my stud that I extended up here. Okay. I'm going to go back to the top-down version here, so I'm going to show you another way that you can see 3D instead of using these preset views. If you go over here to this last button again, there's lots of different text. These all help you view the drawing in a different way. If I go into the orbit tool, this is a cool tool because if I click and then go up or down or left and right, I zoom around an object. So I can kind of zoom around this stud now and look at it from all dimensions. It's just so cool. All right, that's it for day one. Make sure that you save this document or save this drawing, okay, with your name and day one. And you're going to just click on here, SketchUp, save it, as your name, and then day one. And that's it.